What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. This is your Patreon-only stream today. In the chat, Dauntless, Pedro Tomei, Lead Fingers, Mr. Huggy, Drone Pilot, Tuner Taxi, Dauntless again, and CiottiFPV. What's up, friends? Yeah, sort of random stream here for today. But hit me with those questions if you've got any. This is going to be a Q&A stream. This is going to be mailbag, and we're going to edit down. So I've got a... so clips is like the big thing right now, right? Little 30-second, minute-long, whatever. And I've got 1 million hours of live streams that I can edit down with funny clips, as we saw with the BattleBots clip thing, the Rip Squeak dance, and I'm just gonna start blowing through streams and just chopping stuff up. Like the questions that you guys ask, as I always say, are really good, and I'm just gonna chop those up into little individual things. I made a playlist on the channel here called Clips, and I'm just gonna fill that shit up with little 30-second, minute-long, 5-minute-long, whatever it takes. And yeah, we're gonna make one of those here today in Premiere. So if you guys have any Premiere questions, you know, let me know. I don't really know it all that well, but I know it just good enough to get by. So let's just dive into it. If you aren't over on FPV Therapy yet on Facebook, you should get on there. CiottiFPV.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a link to FPV Therapy. That's on my mind because I went to talk therapy this morning, and it was really, really good, and I posted something over on the FPV Therapy group that I was just kind of working through and thinking about, and yeah, maybe it'll open some doors for you. Sort of has to do with motivation and doing the work. So if you find yourself procrastinating a lot or just having trouble, you know, doing the hard things that you don't want to do, maybe go over there and read it. It's a couple paragraphs. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe it won't. If it doesn't, you'll only have wasted a few minutes of your life. Okay. Trying to play as little. Everybody go watch Mighty Car Mods. That's theirs. I shamelessly stole it from them. I did email them to ask for their permission to use it, and they never got back to me. So if I just keep telling you guys to go subscribe to Mighty Car Mods, hopefully, if they ever go to copyright strike me, they'll hit play on the video and they'll see that I'm giving them a shout out, and then maybe they won't put me in the clink. This is I have not ordered FPV stuff in a while, and I've broken that streak, and I got some cool stuff. So here it be. Finally, these are the STP Lotus. So I've been looking for a long time for fancier stick ends, because I have like the most basic bitch radio in the world, right? I have this like $100 QX7. DaVinci Resolve CiottiFPV is if Kristen and I didn't have the Creative Suite giving me free access to Premiere, basically, I would be on DaVinci Resolve. Most people that I've talked to, actually some people that I've talked to, like DaVinci Resolve better than Premiere. Which is crazy because the basic version of DaVinci Resolve is free. So yeah, this is me saying that DaVinci Resolve is really good. Yeah, so I've got this like super basic bitch OGS QX7, and you know, we fly with other people occasionally, and I look at like their fancy radios. I'm like, oh man, I look like a fucking pleb over here. So I've always tried to look for, you know, little things here and there to make it look a little nicer, but most of the stick ends are gigantic, and I've tried that and I don't like it. I don't like gigantic stick ends. But these little STP ones are not gigantic. They're roughly the same size as these. Oh wow, they are. I thought they'd be a little bit smaller. But these are the M4 ones. I've never seen these M4 ones. And the Hall effect gimbals on the QX7 require you to use M4 rather than the ones that I'd previously gotten, which were M3. So look at your fancy buddy Ciotti getting with the times. Oh boy, that thread's on there really low. I don't think I love that. Hold on. Let's go. Let me center this so that I can... Oh, wow. That's not going well. Is there a way to not have that drop down so far? I think there's maybe a set screw in here that I can pop out. Let's try that. So I know that, I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming that I'm not going to like it all the way down like that. Running your stick ends really low like that is literally going to give less throttle throw. Think of like if you ran the stick, think of like if you ran an extension that was like a foot long off this, you would have a huge distance, right? Because of that big extension. So let's see here. Pretty sure this is just a set screw in here, right? Yeah, look at that. Problem solved. So I'm gonna leave this one on here because it's gonna be my comparison point. I don't necessarily want to change the throw. I just want more fancies, man. I just want more purple and more red, right? That's what life is all about. Wasting money on shit that makes you feel good. All right, so that's still a little bit low. Man, this thing, it just like wants to be low. I can only really back this out a little bit more. Let's see if that's a little better. I see what's going on. I see what's going on. Okay. I need to hold this guy up here. I need to hold him in place, and then tighten the whole thing. There we go. Okay, let's see. Is that the same height? No, it's still a little bit lower. All right. Well, let's. I'm gonna leave it. That's. Oh, wait a second. I'm doing it backwards. I'm a very dumb person. You guys didn't see that. Thank God I wasn't live streaming. Yeah, you did not see that. That didn't just happen. I was just that was just a cautionary tale. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, that's way better. Yeah, that was just I did that for you guys. I did that for your guys' benefit. I'm not actually that dumb. All right. Almost there. Almost there. We're gonna put it down a little bit farther, and then we'll do the other one, and we'll be good to go. Yeah. Well, wait. I can just do this. I can just hold it up like this, and then. So what I'm looking at is like that. Like I'm looking at it like that. So see how I'm just kind of comparing the height of one to the other. So that's what I'm doing when I hold this thing up. Ooh, I made it too high. That's a good sign. Okay, so I'm gonna just go down a tiny little bit. Okay, yeah, that's too high. Very cool. So here we go. Just loosen that. Go down a little bit, and then crank it. And now that should be just about the same. Yep, pretty much exactly the same. Cool. All right. Well. You know what? I'm actually gonna, man, there is a lot. There is a point where, like, there is a point where it's too long, and I might be at that point. I remember making the stick ends, making the factory ones longer, because you get more throw, and yeah, that gives you more sensitivity. But there is a point where if you make it too long, your fingers aren't going to be able to get to the ends of the travel, and I think there's a chance I was already there. So I'm going to make them a little bit shorter and try it, and we'll see what happens. I know I talk a lot about like trying to not change things, but every once in a while you should change things. When I say not to change things, it's because most people change things way too often. So yeah, eventually change things, but make sure it's not too often. Okay, that looks about right as a starting point. Now let's see. Oh, I guess I can tell by... Oh yeah, okay, so I'm way too high. I can tell by the amount of shaft. As with many things in life, you can tell by how much shaft is showing. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, I'm finished. Alright, that's about, I think, where it should be. Crank that set screw in the middle, and we'll take one last look. Yeah, okay. And they're definitely not too big. They're definitely not too big. Man twiddles sticks on stream for a while. Look at that, man. Look how fancy I am. I've got more purple. Here's gonna be the annoying moment though. Ready? 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 Ready for the annoying? Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. The gimbal guards don't fit. So I will get a big ass drill bit. Oh man, its TPU is gonna be hard to munch through, but I'll see what I can do. No, I'm not even gonna bother. It's fine. My bag is set up in a way where it shouldn't be pushing these. And I usually don't keep the transmitter in the bag anyway. I usually keep the transmitter like on the top of the bag because I use it a little bit more often. So that's fine. If I like these stick ends and I stick with them, yeah, see what I did there? If I like these stick ends and I stick with them, I will bug one of you guys to remix a thing in the place. Tuner Taxi says, "What's up?" He tagged me. CiottiFPV tagged me and said, "How are you today, man?" CiottiFPV asked about DaVinci Resolve. Mr. Huggy says, "I have mastered procrastination down to a fine art." Yeah, it's not good for us. Yeah, yeah. I've learned a ton from Healthy Gamer GG here on YouTube. It's Dr. K's channel, Healthy Gamer GG, and he's got a bunch of content about procrastination, and it's helped me an unbelievable amount in the past like month or so that I've been watching him stuff. Shout out to Tiago. Tiago let me know about Dr. K and Healthy Gamer, and it's been kind of transformative. Huggy also says, anyone else you know of any non-spiky stick ends? So here's an interesting fact. I found the normal ones to be a little bit too spiky, like they would fuck my thumbs and my index fingers up. So I just took a little file and I just sat, like, you got to be patient, but I just sat with a little file and just rounded off all of the little top edges, just a little bit. You just a little bit at a time, and eventually it got to the point where it was like, it's still spiky, like my finger doesn't slip off of it, but it's not so spiky that it digs into my flesh and has me damn near bleeding. So maybe try that. Dauntless says a lot come in 2 parts, so you can use an M4 spacer or nut, whatever you want. Drone Pilot says, why is it so hard to do a slow roll, controlled and smooth, than it is to just rip through a roll, look at my video beginning, and then look at Su-35 very slow flying over water? I don't even need to look at it to tell you the answer to that, Drone Pilot. It's because the ends of the stick throws are a solid stop, right? So, like, everything that we do, every time we hit a stick end, that's a known quantity, right? It's our max rotational rate. So the stick ends in any direction on either stick are a known quantity, as is full throttle. Full throttle is a known quantity. We've gone full throttle a million times. We know how quickly the quad accelerates, and then we know the speed that it gets up to, right? In the same way that if I stick over to the right, I know how quickly that roll is going to happen. Everything else is based on you as a pilot. Every other amount of rotational rate, including slow rolls, is all down to your muscle memory. And muscle memory takes... I've been meaning to look this up. And I'm going to look it up right now with you guys. What do I say? Muscle memory repetition count. There's the number. There's some number. It's like 25,000 times or something. It's not muscle memory. What's the other name for it? I think it is muscle memory. Let's just type a question. How many times do I need to repeat until muscle memory? It's basically what I'm trying to ask. There we go. Between 1,000... Oh my god. I thought... Every time I thought about I remember hearing 25,000, but that just seems like such a ridiculous number. But yeah, here it is. Some researchers believe that it takes between 1,000 and 30,000 repetitions of an activity for it to become second nature to you. So yeah, I guess that 25,000 number was potentially even a little bit low. So yeah, until you've repeated, until your brain has connected the rotational rate that it wants, right? Because that's what's happening. When you go to do a slow roll, your brain has this idea of, I want to roll the X speed, right? And then it's up to muscle memory for your fingers to move the exact right amount to get to that exact same slow roll rate. And when you watch your footage, this is why I always hammer you guys about watching your own footage. I know it's hard, and I know it makes you feel like a terrible pilot, but you have to do it. When you watch your footage and you see yourself do a slow roll and then correct in the middle, that's the kind of thing that you're looking for, right? And those are the dots that you sort of want to connect when you're watching your footage to figure out, like, oh, okay, I tried to do a really slow roll there, and I did it too slow. And then at that point, you're armed with that info, and you can do one of two things. You can just file it away and say, okay, next time I'm out, I know something to work on and practice more to build the muscle memory. Or you can change your rates. So if you haven't changed your rates in a while and you're already used to your rates, right? Don't just be changing your rates every week, every month. Yeah, it might be a good time if you're watching your footage and you see that happening over and over and over again. That's a possible solution to that. Figure out what's going on. You know, it's going to take a little bit. If you're going to change your rates, it's probably going to take another little bit of thought, right? Because you need to look at that rotational rate and you need to kind of figure out, like, all right, my rates go from 0 to, so for me, my rates go from 0 to 700 degrees a second. So what you would basically need to figure out is, where is your stick? And this is where a stick cam can actually really help. Because if you have stick cam and then you have the HD and you watch the HD and you go, okay, I wanted to rotate more. I can tell because I corrected halfway through. You can then refer back to the stick cam, line the video up, and look at where the stick was, because there are 3 rate settings, right? There's max, which you probably won't need to worry about in this case. But then there's the center stick, and then there's the middle stick. Center stick is your RC rate, or your center if you're using actual rates, which you should be. And then the middle of the stick travel is the expo. So if this is something that's happening in the middle of the stick travel, you want to only adjust your expo. Whereas if it's a really slow roll, it's potentially happening in the middle of the stick travel, and then you want to adjust your RC rate and or your center if you're using actual rates. What do you think of that? That'll be a clip that I cut up. Good question, brother. Alexander Romanenko says, just shove it on there. You guys know I'm thinking it. I don't even need to say it. JFPV in the house. Gary Higgins says, going to buy motors for the 3-inch Ripsqueak build. What should I buy? Brother Hobby 1504.5. Link down below in the description. If there's not, let me know and I'll add it. Drone Pilot says, I'd crash and totally destroy my quad way before I've done 1,000 rotations. You don't have to do 1,000 rotations. You just have to move the stick into that position thousands of times, right? Your brain has to have the thought, I want X amount of rotation, and then your finger has to move to the correct location for it to generate that. And when you do that, if you get it wrong and you notice it in your brain, your finger's going to move a little bit. And then if you notice it's still wrong, it's going to move again. So you can potentially get like 2 or 3 or 4 little muscle memory movements per mistake. This is also why going out and drilling and just practicing, right? Actively practicing rather than just ripping balls every time you go out, right? Flying for practice is different than flying for fun. And if you want to get really good, you're not just going to be able to fly for fun all the time. You're going to have to fly for practice. Nabi in the house. What's up, Nabi? I haven't seen you in a while. Building new quads for 2021? Oh, I thought that was a motor size. T-Motor F55A stack, F40 Pro 4, and the new Johnny FPV QAVS frame, also DJI. Very cool. That's going to be a hell of a build. Drone Pilot says, yes, I had to change my rates as the second profile in 360 degree in 1 second, and that was smoother. This conversation is also why you shouldn't change your rates all the time, right? If you're constantly changing your rates, you're going to delete that muscle memory that you've already built up. So yeah, you want to try to like get your rates into a place where they're good and leave them for as long as possible. But our flight styles change and evolve. So when your flight style changes and what you want to come out of your footage changes, if your rates don't support that, that's a good time to change your rates, right? And for me, that comes from watching my footage. If I watch my footage and I see the same mistake over and over and over again, that's something that it's just like, okay, don't ignore that. Don't just say like, oh, you got to get better at that next time. Like, have that little conversation in your head of like, okay, if I'm really making that mistake over and over and over again, and if changing that, let's say it's expo, let's say if it's happening in the middle of the throttle travel, if that's expo, I want to think about changing that right now, but then you want to go to the other side of it and also think, if I change that, what else is it going to affect? Am I dead on the money when, like, if I move the stick over 30% of the travel into the expo zone and I'm wrong every time, is there a situation where I move the stick 60% of the way, which is still in expo, but I'm perfect every time, right? You don't want to sacrifice one for the other. So that's just what you want to kind of look at and wrap your head around when it's pretty high level shit, right? But yeah, we've all been flying for a long time, and ignoring the high level shit doesn't really work. So face it and maybe make a change, but go into the change with as much knowledge and yeah. Metal says UAV Tech recommends setting actual rate sensitivity to 0 in the center. I tried that and it's okay for pitch and roll, but yaw should be higher. So you can't go down to 0, but you can go down to 10. 10 is the minimum on the actual rate sensitivity in the center. And I'm of the same mind. When I went to 4.2 and I noticed the actual rates and I saw that there was a specific center sensitivity, I dropped that thing down as low as it'll go, and I saw what it did to that graph, and I about shit myself because I've been waiting for that for a long time. RC rate does not function in the same way. RC rate affects the entire curve, and that has driven me nuts for a long time, and that's one of the biggest things about actual rates. And yeah, having that, being able to lower that center sensitivity if you're trying to do any cinematic stuff is an absolute game changer. Espander says, have a sketch for the BattleBot? Yeah, I don't, Espander. I'm still waiting for my team of engineers to get it taken care of. Cement Kid is here. We had a big discussion last night in our stream about whether or not it will improve your flying if you fly different class drones, 2-inch to 5-inch, etc. What do you think, bud? It's not even really a discussion. It ruins your ability to fly accurately. Flying different class to take it a step further, flying anything different, anything, like just not having the exact same build over and over and over and over again that you fly, that are tuned the same, that are absolutely identical, ruins your ability to fly. And it's really annoying, but it makes sense, right? If every time you got into your car, it had a different amount of horsepower, or it had a different clutch in it, or it went from front-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive overnight, you would drive like a fucking idiot, right? The reason why you can drive so smoothly in your car is that every single time you get into your car, it's the exact same thing. So all that practice, all that muscle memory that you've built up with, you know, the bite point of the clutch is exactly here, the throttle pickup point on the throttle pedal is exactly here. I need to give it exactly this much throttle so that it doesn't stall when I'm slipping the clutch, right? All these things, that's that muscle memory. So yeah, flying every single time that you fly a rig that's different from your main rig, it forces you to try to learn another version of muscle memory that your brain is able to turn off and on. And that's a huge issue because muscle memory doesn't really work like that, right? Like, it's muscle memory. It's move it this. And this is why I always talk to you guys about setting your rates the same for all of your rigs unless there's something about a certain rig that flies differently. The point is to try to build that muscle memory and try to set up each individual rig so that it flies exactly like every other rig. There are physical things that will prevent that from happening. The weight of the rig, the prop size, right? The weight of the rig is going to have a huge effect on the throw and the momentum. The prop size is going to have a huge effect on that as well. There's all these things that we can't get around, but what we can tune is the rates and the error correction and all that other stuff. So yeah, that is one of the biggest struggles for me. And like, it's so obvious when I watch my footage. Like, when I watch footage, I can very specifically tell if I've been flying that rig back to back to back to back, and I can almost tell like how long I've been flying, how many batteries I've put into that rig in a row, because I just get a lot better really fast. And the time that I took away from micros early in 2020 and most of 2019, I did that for that very specific reason. I decided, okay, I want to focus on my piloting skills, and in order to do that and to really refine my skills, I need to just pick. And I want GoPro footage, and I want, you know, the platform that all the other top pilots have sort of gravitated towards as the correct, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. And my skill level as a pilot just exploded in that time. And unfortunately, now that I've been bringing micros back into the mix, when I go out and fly, I just don't fly anywhere near as good because I'm not used to it. Usually towards the end of like 8 or 10 or 12 batteries, I'm kind of starting to get there a little bit, and I'm starting to get comfortable and just, yeah. But it's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating that that most of the other top pilots are not in that cycle, and they do just fly the same thing over and over and over again, and it really shows in their flying. Carlos Patros with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He put a pair guy that says, "How's it going?" Really, really good question, Cement Kid, and something that that does not get talked about anywhere near as much as it should. Jordan Pilot says, if I debate with my mind several times, I always win. Anyway, I have 720 as my roll and pitch rates. It's what I'm comfortable with. I just want to learn slower. I just have to learn slower rotation, I guess. And it's really hard. It's very, very difficult to learn the slower rotation because it's just repetition, and it's just reviewing your footage and being mindful and thinking your way through it. And it's just so easy to just go like, I suck. It's easy to watch yourself make those mistakes and go, God damn it, that's the 50th time I've made that mistake this week. I must just be a terrible pilot. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. Those failures are the only way to improve. So every time you have that thought, you gotta try to 180 that. And just go, nope, I'm not a shitty pilot. I'm a pilot that's learning, and I'm improving. And this failure is what's going to help me improve. Because if I'd done it right just now, I wouldn't improve. I would just be exactly where I'm at. So you got to reframe that shit in the words of therapy. Roll D says, any plans to buy a house and fly on your own property? Eventually, Roll D. Yeah, my wife Kristen and I we've had plans to buy a house for a long time, but you got to be there financially. We're not sort of reckless enough to just go, you know what, we'll figure it out. We are of the mind like, yeah, let's save up enough money. Let's figure out like where we want to live first, right? Like geographically, and then let's do it right. We're also kind of like we're sort of past the age where you can just like recklessly say like, yeah, screw it, I'll make it work. We've sort of been through enough life to know like, all right, let's not buy a fixer-upper and have a nightmare that is, you know what I'm saying? Let's do this right the first time. And it's a big, huge goal that I know that we're going to reach, and it'll just be that much cooler once we get there. Joan Pilot says, I will totally agree with different quads. I have 10 7-inch rigs and a few identical, but Truex versus Dead Cat are chalk and cheese difference. Never heard that saying. Go to 5-inch and it's another world again. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Mr. Huggy says, that's why the likes of Steel, etc. fly the same drone, refuse to change even one single thing on it. Yep, exactly that. Carbon Cage is here. Good morning from OZ. What's up, Big and Little Cage? Metal Dirtskin says, I want to be the Eric Winkle-Brown of quads. Look that one up. You better not be trolling me, Metal Dirtskin. Espander says, so if I can't fly my 5-inch every day, but I can fly my toothpick on weekdays and 5-inch on weekends, won't it still make me a better pilot overall? Really, really good thought, Espander. Stick time is good, like, period. It's and I'll even go as far as to say for your first couple of years, how about this? There will be a point where you recognize that flying different rigs is hurting you. How about that? Because I had that moment, and I hope that you'll have that moment. I think that you will. But yeah, I had that moment. There was a moment where I was flying a bunch of different rigs, and I was getting frustrated, and I just thought about it, and I thought, like, what the hell's going on here? And that was it. And I realized that it came from like watching the different footage and playing around. But yeah, there was a point where my brain said, hey, I'm good enough, and I have this muscle memory now. And by the creative, engineering, whatever side of my brain that wants to test and try all different rigs and like, oh, I'm bored of this rig, let me try something else, right? I was able to, and I think that'll happen for you, Espander. I think when the time is right, you will have that realization. But up until that point, just put stick time in, man. And you can all, like, you're in a good situation where you've got a toothpick and you've got a 5-inch rig, it sounds like, right? So if you're going to build a third rig, carbon copy one of those so that you have 2 toothpicks and 1 5-inch rig, or 2 5-inch rigs that are identical and 1 toothpick, right? Just like, and this is why I try my best to talk about like specific uses for specific rigs. Like, have a purpose. Like when you're doing a build, have a purpose to that build. Don't just build it because it's the hype train and everybody says that 2004s on 4-inch props is the cool thing to do. I fall into that trap just as, probably worse than most. Have a reason, because if you have a reason, if there's a specific use in mind for the build, you're not going to have 10 different specific uses, right? You're going to have like a freestyle rig for big spaces, probably a 5-inch rig. You're going to have a freestyle rig for smaller, sketchier spaces where maybe people are walking around. And then maybe you're going to have a Cinewhoop for when you want to fly really slowly. But like have a use for your rigs, and then you can refine. And you're not just like you're not just randomly throwing shit at the wall to see if 4-inch propellers on 2004s are the right thing, right? You're more actively like honing in on that use. And that's what I feel like I've really been able to help people with on Fiverr. Like one of the gigs on Fiverr is build planning, and I just did this yesterday with Nevin from FPV Exchange. If you don't know what FPV Exchange is, get your ass over there and check it out. It's really cool. You're gonna love it. But yeah, I spent an hour on a Zoom call yesterday with Nevin discussing what his current build is, what his goals are for the build, where he flies, how often he crashes, what he crashes into, what the main goal is down the road. Is it cinematic stuff? Do you want to... I mean, you guys tell me, right? Is the goal for FPV getting into a film studio? If so, I can help you get your gear built in a way that's going to sort of support that. And I think there's a lot of value in that, because it allows you to really focus your builds in, and then hopefully build the same thing. Like and maybe you've only got one use. Maybe there's only one situation and there's one very specific build that's going to be perfect. That's ideal. That's what Steel has been able to identify, right? He's just got this one build that he just does over. Well, actually now he's got 2. But up until very recently, it was just one very specific combo. Go figure. He's arguably the best freestyle pilot alive. Can't ignore that shit, right? It's not because he was born a good FPV pilot. It's because he made a series of decisions that allowed him to get to this place. And again, it's just something that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I want to talk about it more because I think it's a big deal. And I can tell you guys from personal experience that getting really good as a pilot is I mean, think of anything you've ever gotten really good at in your life. Didn't it feel good? Didn't it feel like very, very rewarding and special, and you feel like you're unique and all these good things? So I can help you guys do that, I think. I hope. I've certainly helped a lot of people get there with their driving, so there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to help you guys out get there with your flying. The people that have worked with me so far have absolutely loved it. So either the FPV instructor or FPVinstructor.com is coming. That'll be this year. That'll replace Fiverr. gonna be good. By the way, in 19 minutes, a short or a clip or whatever people are calling them is gonna go up here on the channel with the story behind the Stig shirts, and then in a little bit here we're gonna make another short that I'm gonna schedule for tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'm gonna make another one for the next day, and then at some point I'm gonna realize it's a good idea to make like 2 or 3 of these things, and then schedule multiple days out, but one day at a time right now. Back to mailbag. You guys got to stop asking such good questions because you slow me down from the things that I'm trying to do. But that's why I'm a live streamer, god damn it. Michael Blade says, I'm new to FPV, still learning a lot from you and Bardwell. Sounds good, Michael. Just be a sponge, man. Just suck up as much as you can. Joshua and I will continue to vomit out as much info as we can for you to sponge up. Drone Pod says, trees are my weakness and crashes to roll over a tree seems magnetic control in the quad. Yeah, it's because they're so cool looking. You just want to get close. And then Drone Pilot also says, I now carry an extendable pole because last time props garden hedgers to break branches to the ground. Yeah, I should have down below in the description, I should have a link, an Amazon affiliate link to a 33-foot pole that collapses down to about this big, which is like the exact right size to fit in the trunk of even small cars. It'll fit in the trunk of my Miata and just barely in the trunk of Kristen's Mazda 2. And those are 2 of the smallest cars you can buy, so it should fit into all your guys' cars. Continuing with mailbag, now that I'm caught up on the chat, Vifly makes a little discharger. And having a discharger is a really good thing because when you tell your existing charger to discharge, it freaks out and makes a lot of noise and runs the fan at full steam, and it feels bad. And then next time you think about doing that, you're like, nah, I don't want to stress out my charger. Vifly's got you back. Got your back. They make this little fella that just has a little heat shrink on it. And that is the world's simplest little discharger. ISDT makes a nice one, a great big box. It's a huge heat sink. That's all a discharger really is, a heat sink. But it's expensive and it's huge. This is inexpensive and very small. And this is all from GetFPV, by the way. Affiliate links at CiottiFPV.com as well as down below. So yeah, this is a really good example of like a quality of life thing, but also something that can save you a bunch of money. This thing will pay for itself in a hurry because it's going to pull your batteries. You're going to let your batteries sit at full charge for a lot less time. Speaking of, I have at least one battery that is fully charged in this bag from 2 days ago. And like normally what I would do is let it sit in the bag. Like usually where my brain goes is leave the battery charged because that'll encourage you to go fly tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you're not feeling up to it, or any number of different things happen that keep you from flying, and your battery sits there another day fully charged, and then maybe that happens the next day, and then maybe that happens the next day, and your batteries are just getting the hell beaten out of them the whole time. Where's my little battery checker? Balls. Well, let's see what happens. In theory, this has some sort of, I mean, it's certainly set up to chart. Well, there's an instruction manual. Let's do a promotional video for Vifly. Vifly is making some good stuff, man. They're making some good stuff. So I wonder if I bet you I can use this as a battery checker. Store safe would recognize the battery type. LED indication. So I've got a green and a blue. So blue and green are 6S. Okay, cool. When the LED status does not match the above table, please stop using the store safe and contact us. Okay, so that's cool. Intelligently discharge your battery. Storage voltage built in. Highest discharge appropriate. So my question is, my hunch is that if these lights are on, then it's working. Oh yeah, it's working. I can feel it. I can feel it heating up. So my assumption is going to be that when the lights are on, it's working, and then when the lights go off, it's at storage voltage. That makes sense, right? Operation. Before using... after... Oh, okay. So this is interesting. They say before using storage safe, make sure that the voltage of each cell is higher than 3.95. That's important because of the fact that it's going to automatically detect, right? So this is a 6 cell, blue and green, so it's reading 6 cell. If I had like over, so it's not hooking up to the balance plug, right? It's hooking up to the XT60, so it's only able to function off the full voltage. So if I had over discharged this, it would think that it's 5S, and it would light up a green LED and a red LED. So that's actually really important. It's important to look at this chart and figure out what... Ooh, that's getting hot. Yeah. Cool. That means it's working. Yeah, so it's important to read this chart and make sure. After plugging in the battery, the LED that indicates the status will flash for about 5 seconds and then enter the discharging state. If the LED status doesn't indicate correctly, please disconnect the battery immediately. Okay, yeah, so that's saying... So yeah, let's see. So after plugging in the battery, it says it's going to flash. So basically... Yeah, so you, technically speaking, once you know the correct color combination, I don't even need my little battery checker that's gone missing. I can see that it has detected correctly that it's a 6S and the lights are on. It still hasn't said whether or not the lights stay on. Yeah, I still don't know what happens when when this thing shuts off. But I mean, it's very obviously on right now because it's getting hot. So yeah, cool. Okay. So all you really need to figure out is the color combination of the LEDs, and then you don't even need to change. You can just come home, plug the battery in, make sure it comes up if you're 6S, green and blue, and then just wait until whatever happens. Yeah, so it doesn't specifically say anywhere that these lights are going to turn off, but I mean, I'll bet you that the lights turn off. So I'll leave that there, and we'll see what. Oh, here's my battery checker. It was right here. So I'll do even one better. I can hook this up, and then we'll leave it like that. Oh, this is a fully charged battery, 4.19, 4.21. All right, well, now that I have the battery checker, let's really test this thing. Let's test it with some discharge batteries. If we're gonna test it, fuck it. We'll let's test it. So let's see where this battery is at. 6 cell, 21.8 total, 3.69 per cell. Okay, cool. So this is interesting. So this is below storage voltage, 3.7, 3.7. 3.2. Jesus, this actually might have dropped a cell. Oh, what the fuck? Really? This is like the second cycle on this Ovonic battery, and it's already starting to drop a cell. 3.2. That's not great. So let's see what happens when I plug this in. I think what's going to happen is it's gonna think that it's a 5S. So I believe what it's going to do is go green and red. There it is. So that's important. I can't leave this plugged in. If I leave this plugged in, it's going to pull this thing all the way down to 5S voltage, so that's no good. Okay, yeah. So I need to get this, I'm going to get this over on the Bardwell board, as we talked about the other day, and I'm going to try to recover that cell, but I need to do that with another battery. I'm not going to do that with a fully charged battery, so let me see if I have another battery in here, in the bag here, which is at closer to storage voltage. Whoa, 3 point. What's going on with these batteries? 3.1 per cell? Jesus. What the? I didn't think I flew the batteries down this bad the other day, but it was cold out. How about this one? 22.0, 3.6 per cell, 3.6, 3.6. Jesus, I flew these batteries down really low. That's not great. So I don't have a single battery other than the fully charged one that I can hook up to this thing yet. Let's see what we got here. 22.3, that's better. 3.7 per cell. 3.7 per cell. 3.7. 3.7. So this is the other Ovonic. 3.7. Okay. 3.7. Okay. So, and I think, what did they say? 3.7 is below storage. So let's just check it. It should do the red and green thing again. Yeah. Or no. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, okay. So there it goes. There it goes. So it's off. It turned itself off. Okay, awesome. So this battery at 3.7 per cell, it's high enough where it doesn't think that it's a 5S, so it knows it's a 6S, but it's not going to discharge it because it's already below storage voltage. Perfect. That's exactly how it should work. Cool. So yeah, there's a little window. That's really smart. Let's see where this one's at. 21.6, 3.6 per cell. Okay, so this one's a little bit lower. 3.5, 3.65, 3.6, 3.6. 3.6. Okay, so let's see what it does with this one. So this is all 3.6 per cell. I wonder if it'll think that this is a 5S. It does. So 3.6 per cell is too low for this thing. 3.6 per cell, it thinks it's a 5S, and we know that because of the red and green. Cool. So 3.7. So I guess 3.7 to 3.8 per cell is like this thing's acceptable window, and that makes a lot of sense. That's really smart. Okay. And then one more. 25.1. This is the other fully charged battery. 414, 419. Okay, cool. So that is all 7 of the batteries that I brought with me. 3 of them are in trouble and are going to get put on the charger. These 2 are close enough. They're like close to storage voltage, but not quite there. These are also not a high enough voltage where I want to use them to jumpstart these. So I'm just actually going to put these 3 on the straight up charger, and yeah, bring them up to storage voltage, because leaving batteries below storage voltage damages them. What damages them more is leaving them fully charged, but it's still not good. But yeah, I mean, you want to, of course, damage your batteries as little as possible. Unless you're a masochist, then beat them up, I guess. So, plugging everything in here to the Bardwell board, and all the balance plugs first, because that will allow any. So we've tested the voltages on all these, right? But there is, and we know that the voltages are all close enough. We know that we're not plugging in a fully charged battery with a discharged battery, but we still need to. It still really helps to. So we still need to equalize these. a little bit more. So with the Bardwell board, we can plug all the balance plugs in. The poly fuses will clamp down to 1 amp and slowly equalize all these cells. But none of these batteries are at storage. These are all a little bit below storage voltage. So I'm actually going to plug the XT60s directly in now and get it charging because I need to bring all of them up. So let me do that now real quick. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 3, 4, and 5, and then let's go here. I'll charge them all the way back up. I'll bring them all the way back up, and then that'll force me to fly tomorrow. Cool. Yeah, man. ViFly Store Safe. This is new. This is a new product. Let me be a good streamer. I'm gonna be a good streamer right now. Ready? I'm gonna just bear with me here. ViFly. This is what I know what I should do, and I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna avoid it. I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna come in here and I'm gonna do it real quick. Oh man. What was that? That was weird. I don't feel bad doing this on a random stream. Alright, there we go. So we got that, and then I need to go to affiliate program, and I'm gonna go in here, and alright, cool. It's not gonna show you guys anything you should see. Okay, so this is the link to the product. Traffic source is YouTube. Generate link, copy link, bit.ly. The GetFPV affiliate links are just way too long. We're gonna shorten it. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna come in here, edit, and something good for the tools section, huh? Right? Am I right? Is it a no? Let's put it in the battery section. Or no. I'll put it in the charger section. That's the ticket. Cheap. Or no, I'll just say discharger. There it is, people. And here it goes into the chat. And we're saved. That was easy. Why don't I do that every single time? Scrolling back up. Expander uses a car light bulb, short stoppers to discharge his battery if he ever needs to. That'll work, but be careful. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. But for anybody else that wants to do that, be really careful because a car light bulb will pull your battery down to death. Scroll. Dauntless says, what do you normally fly down to? I fly to 3.2 under load, but it goes up. Basically, when I think the battery is about dead, I'll put the rig into a hover. And even if I'm moving forward, I'll just flatten it out, If you don't know what a hover is, in your OSD, there's you can add pitch. You can add your pitch degree. I run that in the top right corner of my OSD. And yeah, it just helps. I think knowing the degree of pitch that you're at is way more useful than you could possibly imagine. And so yeah, I'll flatten it out to get it to an idle, and then I'll just check the voltage. And at a hover, but a flattened out hover, I want to see like no less than 3.5, and I'll put it into put it flat and give it a couple seconds for the battery to come up to a number. And yeah, if it's at 3.5, like get the hell home. Realistically, if I see 3.5 and then, but we should be doing like 3.6, but I'm greedy. Ryzek says Ovonic batteries have a tendency to jump voltage easily if you're just fast charging them. Seems like if you don't specifically charge on a balance charge setting, they fall out of sync. That's weird. Yeah, guys, definitely always balance charge. If you're not balance charging yet, start now. Like zero tolerance policy. Only ever balance charge. That's a really big deal. The other thing to think about with where you land is the temperature outside. As it gets cold, batteries are going to sag more and they're going to like show a lower voltage. But then when you start hammering on them and they get some heat in them, they're going to be a little bit more normal. So it's tough. In the cold, as we just saw, I over discharged 4 out of 6 of those. You got to be a little bit more careful. So like in the cold, yeah, maybe come home at 3.6 just because the chemistry is all angry. Hey, McManus FPV in the house. Everybody go sub to McManus FPV or I will just smash your face in a door. What's up, CMYK? How are you, man? Okay. And now that we've talked about the Vi-Fly discharger, we can get back into the mailbag. This is a cool little thing as well that we're going to talk about. McManus FPV with a $10 super chat saying, "Look at your phone." I looked at it. It's off. Turning it on. Message. Okay, 9 messages from Brad. I've been head down working. Brad's making Minecraft jokes. Sure. Brad said to give him the finger if I can read that. Brad and I have, unfortunately, depending on who you ask, fallen down the goddamn Minecraft rabbit hole again. We have a long history of falling down the Minecraft rabbit hole and just losing many days to that goddamn game. But now I can now I have a platform where I can waste a bunch of other people's lives, which, you know, is, yeah. If you guys want to watch Brad and I play some Minecraft, you're not gonna have to wait long because yeah, we probably have about 3, maybe 4 hours into a fresh seed, and it's been super fun. And at some point, I will just kick the PS4 stream on, and you guys can hang out with us. Those will be like sort of Patreon only streams. The replays will be available only on Patreon, but when we're streaming, I do keep those public. So do the subscribe-y, click the bell, thumbs up, do all the things that much more successful YouTubers than me yell at you to do, and you'll have a chance at catching those Patreon-only streams for free. Or just join the Patreon for as little as 10 cents a day, and yeah, you'll get the replays and the live version. So this little fella is no more than a 5-volt BEC connected to a 6S balance port that goes to USB 3.0. So that I can save, I haven't actually weighed it, so this is kind of perfect, the weight, save the weight of the battery in this Hero 8. And the weight that I'm going to be saving is 22.5 grams for an exchange of... Come on. That's annoying. It's 5.4 grams. So I'm saving... so it's a weight savings of 17.1 grams. That's okay. That makes me feel better. I didn't do the math right in my head, I don't think. So yeah, if you want to save 17 grams... Oh, well, no. I can also pull the door off. What's the doorway? Ah. Whoa. Okay. The door weighs 11.5 grams. So the door weight savings. Yeah. So there you go. I forget all the numbers, but I just said the numbers to you guys. Hopefully you worked out the math. Yeah. This is made by someone. And they sell it on CiottiFPV, where I have an affiliate link. So if you want to get yourself one, do me a favor and use that affiliate link, and then you can run your the door weighs 10 grams. It's a beefy bastard though. It's a big metal. It's got like a hinge in it, and yeah, it's a big beefy door. Cool. Wait, no. Let me do the actual. This is. Let me not be a lunatic. So this is the weight that we're adding. So I'm going to put this on the scale and I'm going to tear it. So this is 5.5, 5.4, tear, and then I take that off and I weigh the battery in the door. Yes, that's how it works. So the total weight savings is 28.8 grams. Call it 30 grams. 30 gram weight savings for a couple dollars for getting this little guy. If you run 6S, I don't know. I mean, shit. I got this for the Cinewhoops and they're 4S. Oh, look at that. I've never seen that before. Look what they did. So they 4S, 5S, 6S. See what they did? See how they put the notch here? They put this notch here so that you always plug, no matter what balance lead it is, you always plug it all the way over on this side. And if it's a 4S, the notch is going to be there. If it's 5S, the notch is going to be there. If it's 6S, the notch is going to be there. Way to go, whoever makes this. Hold on, I gotta get I threw the bag away. Where's the bag? It's down here somewhere. God damn it. It's made by, I want to say it's made by iFlight. iFlight, Type C. To 5 volt balance plug power. So it's made by iFlight. There you go. 30 grams. Dude. I don't know if I would use this on a freestyle rig because you've got like this big open, you know what I mean? But for like a Cinewhoop, I mainly got this for the Cinewhoop, which is why a second ago I had a moment where I was like, shit, the Cinewhoop was on 4S and not 6S. But yeah, this plug that they put in here allows you to do 4S, 5S, 6S. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then it just plugs in there. And you just keep this tucked back for your little battery. 30 grams, yo. That's pretty good. Get out of there. Okay. Next up in the mailbag is a propeller. And it is a T-mount 3-inch Cinewhoop propeller by HQ. Up until this, Sessions do not have removable batteries, Dauntless. Up until these, the GemFan D76s were our only like Cinewhoop specific T-mount propeller, which is fine because they're brilliant. Like those are what's on the my main Cinewhoop with the 2004s, and they're great. But I can never leave well enough alone, and it's just nice to have prop options. So I picked up a set of these. These are the HQ 75mm 5-blade. They're called Duct T75. So yeah, we'll do some testing with these guys and see how they are. My hunch, let's actually compare them to the GemFan 5-blade propellers, and I'll what I was about to say, I'll show you. I can pretty much guarantee that they're not going to make as much thrust, but they're probably going to be a little bit lighter weight, which is interesting. The GemFans have a much wider blade on them. All right, see that? So these are almost guaranteed going to make less thrust, but they're going to be lighter weight. And with them being lighter weight, that means that the error correction is going to work better. The PID loop is going to work better because lighter weight means better response time. But less thrust, the PID loop doesn't like less thrust. So there's always that balance of the weight of the propeller versus how much thrust it can make. So that's basically going to be the testing. That's going to be what I'm going to be feeling for between these two propellers. Which one has a better combination of power versus weight. Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to do it with my Hero 8 plugged in with this little thing, 30 grams lighter than ever before. Thanks for the segue, functioning brain. It is now after 6 o'clock. If you want the ultra nerdy explanation of my Top Gear Stig and James May shirts, a short clip just came up, available on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. Let me know how much of a nerd you think I am. Because I guarantee you, which is fine, because I guarantee I think I'm more of a nerd. Look at the two propellers just happen to line up perfectly to create what appears to be a 100 blade propeller. This is the HQ Duct 76mm by 8 blades. Look at that. What a time to be alive. This one is M5 mount. So this guy is going to get tested on the other Cinesplorer, which has the X-Nova 1804s, which are a M5 nut motor. So these guys, this will be a really interesting test because it's going to be basically the lightest weight Cinewhoop specific prop that we've got available to us, which is the GemFan tri-blade Cinewhoop propeller, versus basically what is going to be the heaviest weight Cinewhoop propeller because it's got the most blades. Let's weigh them real quick. I'm actually really curious at the weight difference between these two. And I have a feeling someone out there has the same question. And if you don't, you should. You should all have that same question, because that's one of the biggest, I mean, arguably that is the biggest, not true. The biggest deal with propellers is how they fly, is how they react to the air moving around them in wacky directions. But the weight of the propeller is a really, really, really big deal. GemFan 3-blade is 2 grams right on the nose. HQ Million Blade, oh my god, is 3.1. I know that 1.1 gram doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's 2 to 3, it's a huge difference. You can't think about grams. You have to think about percentages, percentage of increase. So yeah, there's going to be a big difference in response time between this 2 gram prop and this 3.1 gram prop. But we're also with the multi blades. One of the things that we're going for is noise, is volume, right? We're trying to bring the volume down. And these are going to make more thrust. Well, maybe it depends. If these motors are too high of a kV for this propeller, then this, I don't think it's going to make less thrust, but it might only make the same amount of thrust. You know what I'm saying? Cool. More prop testing. More things that make my ability to build my muscle memory impossible. Right? That's what testing is. But you suck it up and you test it because you're looking for the thing that works a little bit better, and then you can maybe leave it alone. It's one of the really evil things about the hype train in this hobby, is the hype train in this hobby convinces us to do all this testing to try to find the best components, but then it can very quickly become all I do is testing, and I can't get better as a pilot because I just keep testing stuff. And like for me now as a streamer and a YouTuber that is producing content, and you guys obviously want to know this, right? It's like I want to get better as a pilot, but I've chosen the wrong profession. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay, because I'm sure that there's a balance, right? I'm sure that, and even though I maybe haven't found that balance yet, hopefully I can find the balance. Come along with me on the ride to Balanceville. Let me get caught up on chat, and then we'll get back to the mailbag. Richard says, do you have a general idea what's acceptable when checking cell resistance? Unfortunately, Richard, the problem is the chargers. The chargers ability to pick a number for the ohm rating of the resistances, they're just all over the place. Like I've had this B6 AC charger, I've had an ISDT charger, and now I've got this toolkit charger, and like the same battery on all three chargers shows grossly different internal resistance per cell internal resistances. So yeah, that's something that you have to figure out with your own charger. And the way to do that is every single time you get a brand new fresh battery, hook that thing up, get the internal resistances, and write it down on the side of the battery with ooh, that's getting hot. Write it down on the side of the battery. What when the battery was brand new and fresh, what are the internal resistances, and then put a piece of clear tape over it, because otherwise, like me, you're gonna rub it off like a dummy. I always forget that part. I always forget to put the clear tape over it, and then it gets rubbed off. But I have like 10 of these R lines, so I have an idea in my head. Basically, on this toolkit M2 charger, and on most chargers, less than 10 on each cell is a battery that's still like really strong. Where that falls down is with micro batteries. Micro batteries are going to show you much higher internal resistances, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Like tiny whoop batteries are the worst. So like a tiny whoop battery might show like an internal resistance of 40 right out of the box. So that's why it's important to write that down. And what really helps is if you get a bunch. Like, try not to just buy one battery at a time. Try to always buy like 2 or 3 or 4 at a time. And then that's going to help with that, right? Because you get those 4 brand new batteries, you hook them all up, and now you'll even be able to tell if one of those batteries is just ruined right out of the box, right? Yeah, you got to check your cell resistances and also You can't check your cell resistances with a balance board. You have to hook the individual battery up, and you want to check the resistances at full voltage. The cell resistance is going to change as the battery discharges, so always check it when the battery is fully charged, and you have to hook the battery directly up to the charger. You can't have multiple batteries on a parallel board. The resistances go down the more batteries you have hooked up, and it makes it a useless measurement. Good question, brother. Pedro Tome says it's good. Chomper says you can get a door for the side that you can still run the cable through on Amazon. You sure can. I have that opened in a tab somewhere here. But I was shocked that this door weighs 10 grams. And as soon as I saw that this door weighs 10 grams, I went, yeah, fuck that. I'm not going to add weight to it. If I'm going to save weight, I'm going to save weight. I still don't. I don't love the idea of running. Maybe I'll warm up to the idea of having that cable coming off the side if I get the door to fly this thing freestyle without the battery. Maybe. Yeah, there is a door. Let me hit you guys with the link. Because it should be like right here. Nope, it's not in that window, so it must be in this window. And it should be an Amazon link. Nope, it's in here. There it is. Oh, that's B&H. Well, here it is on B&H. Well, here's what it's called. You can probably find this on Amazon. If you're going to buy that on Amazon, hit my affiliate link on CiottiFPV.com beforehand if you don't mind. That's what it looks like. And it's just got a little hole. A little hole in the bottom there for the thing. You know what? Maybe they have a weight. Do they have a weight? Nah, no weight. But yeah, there you go. So that, if you were gonna fly that little setup on a freestyle rig, definitely do it. You know, here's the biggest scary thing, is that when you don't have this door on, the SD card is right there, and there's kind of nothing from keeping that SD card other than the little internal resistance when you click it in, right? It just feels like the SD card could just pop right out without the door. Unless your TPU is closed on the side, I guess, and mine's not. You know what? I'm really tempted to get this door. What I was thinking with not running the door is I could just put a little piece of tape over the SD card, which I'm sure would be totally fine. But that's kind of getting to a level of jankiness that I don't necessarily love. Back to the mailbag, though. Guys, look at this picture. I forget who sent this to me, but on the stream the other night. But you can't tell me that's not the best thing you've seen all day. Staying on the propeller train, the other set of HQ Cinewoo propellers that came out are the T63 6-blade, and they are T-mount. And these will be for the 2.5-inch Cinewoops that are coming. I've got that Freibot frame, which we're gonna be building, and this little fella with the prop guards on. Should be interesting with these guys. So I'm excited for these, because yeah, I think this is now the same kind of deal. This is the second 2.5-inch T-mount Cinewoop specific propeller that we have available. The Gemfan beat HQ to it. So yeah, we'll do some more HQ versus Gemfan Smackdown testing. No! Alright. Cool. So those are a bunch of the new HQ props that just came out. And I love buying propellers because they're inexpensive. Oh, cool. Lumineer QAV-S session mount. So, The is it made by Brain 3D? Yes, it is. I had a feeling. So the QAVS came in the FPV crate 3 months ago, 3 FPV crates ago, and I'm going to be building it with. I'm going to basically do an FPV crate build. So this frame came like 3 months ago. I think the month before that, this 30x30 T-Motor flight controller was in there. Last month, this Xylo VTX was in there. And then Brad sent his Drib hype train motors over a while ago when he was done with them. So yeah, I'm going to do an FPV crate build with this QAVS, and what good would it do me without the without an ability to put an expensive camera on it and destroy it? Am I right? I'm not going to put that on there. That's what it looks like. It looks like much more of a quad. I also hate the way quads look without GoPro holders on them. So there we go. This will be pretty cool. I like this frame a lot. I'm not totally sold on the split top plate thing because it does have some flex in it, but apparently everybody that's flying this frame has not really had an issue with this. And like, people crash, right? And crashes put a huge amount of energy into these things, and that tends to find like legitimate weak points pretty quickly. So yeah, if there's a bunch of people flying these and not having an issue, it should be fine. And the Caddx Ratel 2, which came this most recent month, is gonna be in this build as well. So I guess I'm just waiting for an ESC, and then a receiver, and I'll probably just end up doing a Crossfire. Is that all I need? I guess it is. Okay. ESC, and then I'll do an FPV crate build, and that'll be fun. And so this build will probably then be available. Well, so okay. Hey, how about this? How about this? You guys are about to see the salesman, the salesman Ciotti come out. Watch this. You guys are gonna love my nuts, and you're gonna love what I'm about to tell you. Over on my Patreon page, I'm at 151 patrons. I made a goal for 100 patrons, when we hit 100, to give away a fully built rig, which I did. I put another goal in there when we got to 200 patrons to give away another fully built rig and the shirt off of my back when we hit 200. So as we get closer to 200, I'm going to start wearing shirts that I love less. Fair warning. And this is going to be the build. But not if it takes too long. So here's where sales Ciotti comes in. I'm sure it's going to take me at least another month to get started on this build, just because this is not like a high priority, and I kind of want to schedule this out. I would love for this to be the giveaway. This would be so perfect, but you guys need to help me with this. How about this, right? If we can get to 200 before this is ready, I will do a stream to build this, and it'll be it. If it takes me 6 months to get to 200 patrons, this build will be long gone. I'll have built this, and if I have to wait too long, this build is going to get sold on FPV Exchange. But if we can get to 200 patrons quick enough, this will be the giveaway. How about that? I'm looking for the goddamn goals, but I can't find it. View your public page. That's what I want. Okay, view your public page, and then I think this should give... There it is. There are the goals. Okay, so yeah, there it is. 151 out of 200. When we get to 200, get this shirt off my back, and an entire build. So I guess if you guys want this to be the giveaway, you better grab my Patreon link and send it to all your friends. And tell as many people as you possibly can to join my Patreon page for as little as 10 cents a day. And maybe when we get to 200, it'll be a whole... Yeah. I assume, like, my assumption when I made these goals is that it would be like micros or, you know, stuff that doesn't cost a fortune. I had like this grand plan of like, oh, maybe I will be able to give away like a really fancy 5-inch rig with good motors and good stuff and this, that, and the other. Yeah. How's that sound? Is that fair? Or am I asking too much of you guys? I always try to, I don't know, walk the line of... I mean, I appreciate the shit out of you guys no matter what, but, I don't know. Sometimes it helps for somebody to give you a little nudge. Maybe you guys didn't think of sending my Patreon link to your buddy that would benefit from all the tuning advice and filter advice and rants and for sale items and clearance stuff that I post on the Patreon page. Ha! Double A says, that is what I was saying, CiottiFPV, the other day. That is how I made balance extensions for my 4-channel charger. They're trimmed up just like that battery adapter. Ah, okay. Had to do that over the winter due to not being able to find any balance board extensions. Okay, that makes sense, Double A. Carbon Cage says, my session turns off and on repeatedly, so it won't record anymore. Do you know, is there a way to factory reboot or reset? There is, but unfortunately your session is dead, Cage. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is, there's a name for it, like the death loop or something like that. I've had multiple sessions do that, and they don't come back to life. The way to do the factory reset is to hold both buttons. Hold the top button and hold the back button for like 10 seconds or something like that. If you want to just do it and you'll see if it factory resets, or just go to Google and type in session 5 factory reset. But yeah, it's basically you just hold both buttons, but unfortunately I can tell you that session is a goner. It sucks, man. It's always... Sessions have a very human-like quality in that, like, they're so strong and you can beat the living hell out of them for a long time, but then they have a limit, just like us. They do have a limit, and when they hit that limit, that's kind of it. And like when they hit that limit, I'm like, oh, and they have that human like, oh man, no, you're giving up. You've worked so hard for this. You've worked so hard, little GoPro. Don't you just want to live a little longer? Don't you just want to go down the side of that building one more time? I know that I smashed you into the concrete at the top of that building, and then you fell all the way 30 stories down to the asphalt, face first, and you look like a goddamn trapezoid now, and you were on fire for like a couple seconds, but we put you out. I know that was hard, but don't you just have a little bit left in you? And then it flashes on and off and on and off and on and off. And it's almost saying like, I'm trying. It's trying. It's like I'm on. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm back. I'm good. Fly me off. Fly back. And this is where you're at right now, Cage. Pour one out for the homie. Carbon Cage's session, it tried so hard. It tried to stay with us, but it was just too much. It was too much. We couldn't save him. It's tough. It's a tough moment. So my kid says, what do you think about a good 2.5-inch prop for this 95X build? If you just mentioned it, I missed it. Sorry. Yeah, so Matt, just get there aren't many 2.5-inch Cinewoop specific propellers. This is the GemFan one. It is the D63. Yeah, GemFan D63. And then the one that I just unboxed. The one that I just unboxed is the HQ T63. So just get them both and see which one you like best, because with Cinewhoops you don't break many propellers. So yeah, get 2 sets of each, and they'll last you until the end of time. And you can ruin your muscle memory by testing them back to back. What I always try to do to reduce that with testing is I try to like kind of get the testing over with as quick as possible. Just get the testing done, try to trust whatever the result was, and then just stick with that item, and maybe like look for some other people that are saying one is better than the other, and hopefully, like, if I think one is better than the other and I can find like 1 or 2 more people that think that same thing, that's kind of good enough. And I'm like, okay, I'm sticking with that one, put this other one away, stop. What's interesting is I have a huge amount of propellers. Sometimes I will take those other ones and I'll like give them away to you guys, or just throw them away because they're propellers and they're cheap, or give them to like somebody local or whatever. But sometimes I'll keep them. And then what sucks about keeping them is eventually I forget, and then or I just go like, maybe I'm a better pilot now. Maybe they are better, and then I retest them. But that's probably not good. I should probably do a better job of getting rid of them, right? Like once I've done the testing, trust it, and just get rid of them. That would be a good thing, because that would reduce the number of propellers that I have just sitting over there. So, note to self, give more propellers away. And I don't feel bad giving them away, because maybe they're perfect for the person that gets them, right? Like that's what's really important to remember about propellers, and a lot of the stuff that we buy is there's not a best. Like 90% of the posts in Facebook FPV groups are, hey, what are the best X for me? And like I don't even try to help anymore. I just post, there is no best, only what's good, only what fits your flight style, and that's where I'll add something useful of like, where do you fly, how do you fly, what quad are they going on, right? Because people never give any info. They just, what's the best? Tell me. Do all the work for me now, or I'm gonna cut you. Espander says, I rate the date on lipos, but never thought about writing the resistances. The date's really smart too. For a little bit, I would write the date and then the resistances. But I think that the resistances are actually more, I mean, it's just write them both, but if you're going to sacrifice one of the two, I think writing the resistance is a more meaningful number. The date is a good number so that you know if that battery is, if you want to buy more of that battery, right? If you bought it a month ago and it's already on fire. But the resistances are the best to have there so that you can just know the health of that battery. Because it's hard to let go of a battery and to put it out to pasture. Shameless FPV says, clear tape over the writing. Thank you, brother. This is the gold I tune in for. Life advice, FPV advice. I got it all, man. Isn't that worth 10 cents a day? Dustin Gable says, yo, what's up? Sorry, I'm going to watch. It's all good. Dustin, glad you're here now. E-Doc says, so you haven't gotten the January FPV crate yet. I have not. I always seem to get the FPV crates like a full week to a week and a half after everyone else. I don't know if it's just Georgia USPS or what, but when it gets here, I'll do an unboxing, as I have been. Toxic FPV says, holy shit, I want to see CiottiFPV build. Well, Toxic, you're just going to have to tell everybody you know to join my Patreon. Or just wait, because I am going to have CiottiFPV builds on FPV Exchange. All right, I'm gonna call on the collective for help with something because I can't find it. I have 3 full builds that I just need to do that I can't do because I can't find the goddamn flight controllers. I'm just waiting on flight controllers. The reason why is I think that Pyrodrone is the only place that sells them here stateside. It doesn't really do any... I know Banggood also sells them, but that doesn't really help me. Here's the flight controller. If you guys have seen this flight controller somewhere, or if you're willing to use your Google Foo, then I'll be able to get these builds done quicker. So it's the Acon F7 V1.1. And I just need to look for the coming soons because it's out of stock. Here it is. So here in the chat is a link to it. And here's the description. I cannot find this. And this is different. There's 2 versions of this. This is the non-DJI version, which you can tell by the fact that it says V1.1. The DJI version of this is like in stock everywhere, of course. And it's this V3, Acon F7 Mini HD. This is not what I want. I don't... I'll probably just break down and end up getting this at some point, but I would really rather not. I would really rather have the other one because I don't want this extra plug header, and I like the way the pads are laid out on the other one a little bit better. But yeah, if you can find that V1.1, the non-HD one, the non-DJI one, for sale stateside, and actually in stock, I'll send you a couple stickers. Or my eternal adoration. Whichever you'd prefer. Your choice. Ryzek says, you're worth it anyways. Oh wait, no, it makes sense when I read the previous comment. And then make a super goal of 100 plus of the 200 people to do the $10 and up tiers. You will do up 5-inch plus your shirt, 3-inch plus your shoes, pants, or something. Upsell. Yeah, I think there's a goal on there at like 500. Well, let's see. I think I made some ridiculous goal at 500 because if this gets to 500 patrons, like, you guys are gonna see some serious shit going on this channel. And this ridiculous goal that I've posted for 500 will be easy. I forget. I remember going like completely off the reservation with this goal, but I want to see how off the reservation I went. I think it's I will fly to you, like in an airplane, and we will go flying together. So there's 200. Yeah. If we get to 500, everybody in the $5 and up tiers will be entered in the money, and I will fly. Oh yeah, right. U.S. only. Although shit, maybe not. If we get to 500, maybe I'll fly to Germany. I will fly to your town, or I will buy you tickets to fly to me here in Atlanta, and spend the whole weekend hanging out, building, flying, destroying, or whatever other shenanigans they're down for. What do you think of that for a stretch goal? I have good ideas sometimes. But let's get to 200 first. What do you say? Dustin says, I always knew you were the Stig. See, told you love that t-shirt. So it sounds like a couple of you guys have checked out that little short clip that I put up. Roll D says, can you do some paranormal investigations with the Acon? Do you have any ghost stories, Ciotti? Nah, I'm not a believer. I'm not a ghost believer. Thank God, because that shit scares me. Metaldirtskin says, GemFan makes a 5-blade version of that T-mount 63mm Cinewoop prop. Do they really? 5-blade version of the 63. I have all of their Oh yeah, you're right, they do. Oh wait, no, that's the 2-inch. Is that it? Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. I totally forgot. So we've got 3 options in 2.5 inch. There's the 5 blade, and there's the 3 blade, and then there's the HQ from before. So yeah, good call. Thanks for the reminder. These are new. I just got these out of my sponsorship box from them like last week or the week before. All right. See, this is the power of the collective, yo. I don't have to know or remember all the things because you guys cover my ass. Dustin says, yes, propellers, please. Well, Arciatic says, put the 4-blade props on Mobula 6. Flies great. Yeah. Arciatic, yeah. What I think, in my opinion, what you're feeling there is that the biggest problem, because all of this is a balance, right? Like we balance everything. We balance like horsepower basically with response time, with everything's a balance in this hobby. And sometimes what I find is a good approach is to look at a quad, to look at your tiny whoop and go, okay, what's the worst problem with this? And with 65 mil tiny whoops, the biggest issue is horsepower. And so putting those 4 blades on is an attempt to solve the biggest problem. And I think that when we then go fly it, it's like, oh my God, it's so much better because we just took care of the worst possible problem. What's interesting is going to a 4-blade propeller, it's the heaviest propeller, so it hurts response time. The 3-blade and the 2 and even the bi-blades are going to be lighter weight, so it's going to have better response time. So the air correction, the PID loop is going to work better. It's going to react a little bit quicker when you move the thumbsticks around, but that doesn't matter. Because the fact that it's lacking power is the biggest issue. What's the word for it? Oh my God! In hospitals, when they prioritize the worst thing. I keep wanting to say trauma. It's not trauma. It's the approach of prioritizing the worst thing, and just so when somebody comes into the ER from a car accident, and triage, thank you, Metal, triage, that's it. Yep, it's the triage approach, right? What's the worst possible thing? Let's hit that first, and then if we can then go to the next thing, great. But if not, we took care of the worst possible thing. Triage, yeah. I used to have in one of my project management jobs, one of the companies I worked for. They used triage as their internal annoying jargon word that would make me want to scream. Was it the SEO? I think it was the SEO company that I worked for. So we were doing search engine optimization, and we would get on the phone with the client. We would look at their website. We would look at their history. We'd talk about what's been working and what's not working. And then we would figure out like the easiest thing, because with search engine optimization, it's like a very slow build. And so as a project manager, my job was to keep them paying us $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $50,000 a month for as long as possible. Well, trying to convince someone to give you thousands of dollars a month and saying to them, so 6 months from now, you'll start to see this maybe pick up a little bit, but realistically it's going to be like a year before you really see your Google search results doing anything valuable. It's hard, right? It's really hard to convince somebody of that, and of course the salespeople wouldn't do a very good job of it, so it would fall on us. So we would have this triage approach of like, hey, let's figure out like what's the worst thing. Like, you're not on Facebook at all? Okay. Screw everything that the salesperson just sold you on. This is the lowest hanging fruit. This is the thing that we can nail right now to give you some results. And then like if I could show them results, a little bit of a result after month 1, they would at least like, okay, all right, now I feel okay. Here's 10 grand more. And then while we were doing that, we would work on some of the other stuff. But yeah, now I'm just rambling. Drone Pilot says, I have a question. I run Crossfire. I also run iNav, which makes me need more channels. I want to be able to split an output channel across 4 switches without one causing an effect on the other. This is that question going over my head, Drone Pilot. I have no clue. I have no clue. I barely know what you're trying to do, but I think I know what you're trying to do, but I have no idea how to do that. That's a really good question for Joshua, actually, because that man knows OpenTX and Crossfire and iNav. So yeah, hit Joshua with that question on his next live stream, or just email it to him, and he should be able to help you out. Ryzek says, we talked about that. Dustin says, we already talked about that. Metal Dirtskin says, we already talked about that. What happened here? How did I get scrolled? Oh, I remember I was scrolling up and down. Carbon Cage says, it's okay, you only confirm my suspicions. Yeah. We'll all pour one out for that session. Metal Dirtskin says, would the Heli Nation Talon be acceptable? It has the right pinout for the Acon ESC. So, unfortunately, the Heli Nation Talons on 5-inch rigs don't hold up to the abuse and the G-forces that 5-inch rigs generate in hard crashes. The Talons F7s are beautiful in micros, and that's my preferred. It's even down below in the description. It's my preferred flight controller for micro rigs, but after the 4th one let go on my glides, I said, okay, let me try something else. And I went over to the Acon F7 V1.1, and I've got 2 of them that have been going for a long time and have been really beaten, and they've been totally fine. And yeah, on rigs that I'm gonna sell, like within reason, I'm gonna put the nicest stuff. I am the flip side of that is that these 3 rigs are going to be on Newbie Drone Flow 2306.5 motors, and those are not the best motors available, but I don't want to have to charge like $800 for these rigs, and these motors have melted my brain. Like, if somebody wants a like super premium top shelf version of one of my builds, I will put the F40 Pro 4s on it, but for these first 3 that I'm doing, I really believe in these Newbie Drone motors, and being able to get a titanium motor shaft replacement motor for like $11 per is a really big deal. So yeah, the Newbie Drone Flow motors are kind of the only thing in these. Although you could say the same thing about the fact that I'm building them into the glide frame, right? You could say, oh well, you should put them in an Apex frame. That's a little bit better. It's only better in my opinion in some ways. I think there are a bunch of ways that the glide frame is actually a lot better than the Apex, but the glide frame is only $50, right? And the Apex is a $90 super top shelf premium frame. I really try to put a lot of thought into spending the right amount of money, I guess is one way to put it. Like buying components that are good enough, but okay. So how can I put this in car terms? I'm trying to think of an analogy. I want to build an autocross car, so I buy a current generation Miata versus buying an Enzo, right? Like for autocross, the Miata is going to be plenty, and it's a good value, and it's the right platform. Buying a multi-million-dollar Enzo, maybe it'll be a little tiny bit better in autocross. It'll definitely be better in these other ways, but that's not what I was doing. I was buying this car for autocross, right? So like with the quads, I try to do the same thing and like wisely, carefully spend money, still trying to get stuff that's going to perform at the highest level. Maybe there's a tiny little sacrifice, but to get that extra bit, you have to spend like stupid money, and yeah, I don't want to sell something that's already set up for stupid money. Hope that makes sense. Carbon Cage's beloved GoPro is dead. Shakes at first. Shakes fist at sky on knees, screaming, never give up. YouTube did the thing. Frank Nicholas is here. He called out Triage. Dan Richmond says, looks like they have those flight controllers at Rotor Geeks and RC Papa. I've never ordered from either, but I found it. Dan, I am forever grateful. I think I did see it at Rotor Geeks because I did do a Google search, but was it out of stock or something? RC Papa. Dan, did you just search for... Nice. Jaden just became a patron. Host to play again soon. Sounds good, brother. Thanks for supporting and welcome to the collective. Make yourself at home. Dan, yeah, let me know if you had to do any crazy Google foo to find them. I feel like I did just do that search, and I remember seeing it on Rotor Geeks. I have ordered from Rotor Geeks. They have some cool stuff. Toxic FPV says, did you hear about the BQE little homie? I can't wait for them to get it listed for sale. What do you mean, this? So this is the little homie. Made by BQE. And this is their take on taking a 65 millimeter tiny whoop and removing the ducts. So it's probably just about, wow, I could damn near use this as a stiffener. So yeah, this will allow you to create basically a 65 millimeter toothpick, 65 millimeter motor to motor, not prop size. It would be a 1.2 inch toothpick. I think that's what the 65 millimeter prop. Well, it says on them. Yeah, 1220. So yeah, these are 1.2 inch. Yeah, so the BQE little homie is a 1.2 inch toothpick. Toothpick 1.2. And then here's the crazy lightweight little canopy. And then I'm not even sure what this is. I gotta ask Bill what this was. He was sending me my order with some. I ordered 2 more rip squeaks. And he was sending me the order, and he'd just gotten these in. And he was like, I'm going to throw something in there for you. And I got excited because this is... Once I have AIOs, I'm still waiting on the Nubigen AIOs. This is going to be an interesting little build. So yeah, BQE, man. BQE.io. Check them out. Lots of cool stuff going on. Bill, that runs the shop, is an amazing guy. Who has had a really rough last 6 or so months. Pretty much his whole family got COVID. His father-in-law died from COVID. He's just had a really, really rough go of it. So yeah, go over and show BQE.io some support. Bill's a super cool dude. Be understanding if your stuff doesn't get shipped right away because he's still dealing with all of the fallout from that. They have the Ripsqueak Micro, which is currently my absolute favorite 3-inch frame. So if you want to build a 3-inch rig that flies about as close as you're going to get to a 5-inch rig, BQE Ripsqueak Micro is the way. Chomper FPV with a 1999 super chat in Boris voice for your BattleBot because it's a lie. Thank you so much, Chomper. Super, super generous, man. Love it. You are the man. Mr. Syncopad didn't type CiottiFPV, so it didn't light up an orange, but I just happened to see him say Ciotti. He says, heard you're competing on sub count with, what's his name? Let's go. So yeah, that was John E5. he didn't like, we didn't talk about it or anything. He just put that video up, and then one of you guys actually sent me the video, and I was like, oh, cool. And I'm the sub count thing, like I try to like ignore completely. I function better just focusing on like making good stuff, and then if people enjoy that and the subs come, that's awesome. But like I just don't it doesn't really work well for me and my mental illness to have like these goals, and to have like, especially like with YouTube, because it can be very toxic with like with likes and subs and stuff like that. Yeah, that just doesn't work. So like when I saw the video, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I haven't really talked much about it, or really thought about it, to be honest with you guys. But I am getting close to 5,000, so I don't know, where am I gonna win? Let's see where we're at here today. 49.30. Cool. So yeah, we're getting there. Nothing really super exciting happens at 5,000. It's you don't get like a play button or anything like that, but it's a number. Glor says I win. Cool. So yeah, that was super cool. What's funny is in the video, John says that he's a super goal-oriented person, and he's kind of doing this for himself. And then in the comments, like I called that out. I was in the comments. I was like, well, I'm the least goal-oriented person you'll ever meet, but this could only possibly help. But the only possibility is for this to help both of us. So yeah, let's do it. And then, to be totally honest, I haven't thought about it since. Like I think maybe one person mentioned it otherwise. But yeah, thanks for hanging, Glor. I just haven't thought about it since. But yeah, it's off we go to 5,000. Send my link to all your friends and tell them all to subscribe so that we get to the number 5,000, and then I can not think. You know what it is? The for me, the problem with goals like that are that like the as soon as I get to 5,000, there's no celebration for me. It's just what's next, and I'm working really hard, actually, in therapy to get one of the many things that I'm working really hard on. That's not a good, like, yeah, that's there. It's very easy, and it's kind of a cop out to like have these things where I'm just like, no, I'm just not that kind of person. I'm just not a goal oriented person, so I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, I'm allowed to be an individual, and like with some stuff. Yeah, okay, that's fine, but things like goals, there's a reason why a lot of people use goals, because it works for a lot of people. And like I'm trying to, maybe it really doesn't work, but like at the moment it's just like that triggers something bad in my brain. I don't feel like I'm being too lazy to fix that, so I'm just gonna not do it, right? And there's been way too much of that approach in my life, stretching back way longer than I would like to admit. And yeah, 2021 is going to be my year, and I'm just going to kick the shit out of stuff like that and be better and be happier and be awesome. So come along for the ride, motherfuckers. EEDoc says, need to challenge Johnny 5 to a Velocidrone combat battle, as it can be in your control. Yeah, right. I'm so bad, though, I'd probably get my ass kicked. Brandon's Baked Bean says, is BQE restocked on Ripsqueak Micro 3-inch frames again? Last time I checked they were, but it's been a little bit. Did you guys go and buy them all? when I told you that they were back in stock? Let's see. So the Ripsqueak Micro is down here. There it is. Let's see if they have any. I just recently ordered some. Looks like it's good. 3-inch. Let's just say black. In stock. Look at that. So the 3 inches in stock. The 2.5-inch arms are in stock. The 2-inch arms are in stock. There you go. Go get you one. And leave in the notes. Put in the notes. CiottiFPV sent me. Man, you should sponsor that guy. He talks about you a lot. Or something like that. Or just write, Bill, you're an awesome dude. Keep doing what you're doing. Much love from the FPV community. Write whatever you want. Almost forgot. So I guess I should change the name of the stream to Mailbag because we are now over 2 hours, and I can leave Q&A, Mailbag, editing past streams. Okay, I'll leave it alone. We'll still have time to edit a past stream down. T-Motor F40 Pro 4, just because I didn't have any extras. I realized that I had 4 extras, and then I built the Moon Goat, and I used all 4 of those extras on the Moon Goat. The Moon Goat is another build. All right, how about this? How hard do you guys want to work? How about this? If you guys, if we get to 200 on Patreon by the end of, I gotta be careful here. Fuck it. By the end of March, if we get to 200 patrons by the end of March, I'll give away the Moon Goat. With F40 Pro 4s, with all the other stuff that you've seen on the Moon Goat. What do you think of that? I'm doing everything I can to keep this thing going. So maybe that'll happen just from the fact that I'm working harder than I ever have before. But you guys help me with everything. So why stop there? End of March. Somebody call me on that. I'm going to forget that. I'm not going to forget that because that's a good thing to tell people about. So I'm going to write it in here. If at 200 patrons by end of March, Moon Goat is giveaway quad. After that, what's it called? QAVS is giveaway. My brain works a lot better when I'm not in a miserable, horrible depression. And I think of shit like this, which is cool. It's real cool. Extra F40 Pro 4 for me. Throw this in the motor bag. And we will move on to the next thing in the box. Hold on, I gotta put this. They give you these little washers for the top of the motors, and they're really easy to lose. Ow! I have a little bag of them in there. That's fine. I also want to put this in here, and that. Look at the little rocket ship. Isn't that great? It's a little foam rocket ship. I always try to peel them off and stick them on stuff. I have a bunch of them stuck on the arm of this thing. Cool. That goes there. That goes there. For the record, I make it a point to like make you guys watch me get organized in the thoughts that maybe it'll inspire you guys, because a bunch of you guys have messaged me and been like, dude, thank you for being organized. You gave me like the push to be organized, and my life is immeasurably better now that I'm organized. So, and I try to kind of do that for you guys. This is a giveaway item. It's a left-hand circular polarized SMA antenna. If you don't have a set of left-hand circular polarized antennas and you're still flying analog in your gear bag, do it. It's really nice to have. Rampage, for example, all the people who had switched over to left-hand circular polarized had really clean video, and the rest of us that were too stubborn to do it suffered. It's just good to have in your bag. You never know what's going to happen. I did it. I did a thing. It was only 25 bucks, 24 bucks, whatever. It was really inexpensive. So I grabbed a Source 4, right? Source 1 V4. I'm going to take the squid out of one of the glides, and I'm going to drop it into this Source 1 V4 frame and fly it and crash it, and I'll be able to give you guys a review. So you know what's funny? This review, or this product rather, was the... I'm very embarrassed that it took this long for this to happen, but this was like the aha moment for me of like... When I was looking at this frame, I had the thought that I always do of like, ooh, that would be cool to review, but I just don't have the money. And I need to just not spend any money right now and blah, 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 blah. But because this was only like 26 bucks, I had that same thought that I always do. And then I thought, wait, you can make more than 26 bucks from that review. Now you know why I'm so embarrassed that it took me this long to realize that. So yeah, I think maybe I avoided that thought because it's kind of easy for you to run wild with that, right? And just to go on a goddamn shopping spree and just justify all of the you know, right? I went on CiottiFPV and spent $10,000 on stuff because, oh, I'll definitely make that money back, right? That doesn't work. But yeah, within reason, I need to start doing that more. I need to put aside being way too insane, admittedly, about money, and spend money to make money, to use the terribly oversimplified version of how to run a business, right? So yeah, Source 1 V4 review coming at some point. Hopefully sooner than later, because this is like a sort of hype trainy, new, fresh, whatever frame. I'll put it together and weigh it tonight and let you guys know. I like to, when I get a new frame, I like to grab my tools and sit on the couch and watch TV with Kristen, and just, it's just like a mindless thing to sit. I can sit with my eyes up on the TV and just, you know, screw hardware in without being distracted. You know, like I can still actively be a human being hanging out with her while doing something that has some value. And then I think the last thing in here is this. I didn't know this existed. This is like an extra short SMA to UFL. 25 millimeter. And look how nice and short that is. This is actually for the Moon Goat. I had to put yeah, I didn't have one of these. I had to use a weird one. So yeah, this will be cool. So yeah, if you need, this is a pointless product, but I needed an SMA to UFL, and there was that one. So I bought it. And that's it. Mailbag is done. Bros and broettes. Let me see what the charger was hollering about. Make sure all is well. Yeah. 419, 418, 419. What? 424? What the? Hold on. What? What's the deal with that? 419, 420, 419, 422, 420. Okay. Sometimes the so I'm reading though. Oh yeah. What am I saying? I read it off the charger, you dummy. Charger says 4.20 for all 6 cells. Yeah, so when I was reading those off right now, I was reading them off of the little screen. The Bardwell parallel boards have a voltage checker built into them on a little screen. If you don't know, you should. These little voltage checkers are not very accurate. You never want to use this. This is like a good guide to make sure that you're not like, yeah, half a volt off. But you never want to use this as like gospel. How hot's this thing getting? It's not getting that hot. This is going to take a long time to discharge, but that's fine. I mean, who cares? Leave it plugged in overnight. These were at, yeah, this is going to take a long time, but it's nice and small. It's really cheap, and yeah, got the time. Let it sit overnight. Who cares? Edoc says, isn't the Source 1 V4 geared towards DJI, I thought? I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know that the Source 1 is a very popular frame, and the V4 is the newest version of it. So I said, let's give it a shot. And I know that it's lightweight, so it'll be a fair comparison to the Glide. Scrolling back up... Family Guyver likes the idea of the giveaway. Metal Dirtskin says, gotta post that shit on Instagram, etc., and we can share it all over the place. Deal. Ram Donko says, love, luck, and positivity vibes. Thanks, brother. Mr. Syncopad says, F stats, man. Any frame recommendations? I can't seem to get a Glide in Europe, but would be nice to have motor bumpers. Source 1? Not the V4. The one of the things I really don't like about the V4 Source 1 is that there's not much motor protection. The standard Source 1, though, does have acceptable motor protection. The only problem with the standard Source 1 is the 30 by 30 mount holes are not isolated from the arms. So you basically just don't want to run 30 by 30 in the regular Source 1, which is fine because now Acon has the AK32 pin, really durable 20 by 20 ESC, and then there's a million 20 by 20 flight controllers. My favorite is the Acon V1 that it looks like Rotor Geeks and whoever else has. So yeah, there you go. But I thought that Bob shipped worldwide. I think you can order from FPV Cycle and they'll ship to you in Europe. At the very least, shoot Bob a message on Facebook or Instagram, or contact us on his website and just say, "Hey, I'm in Europe. How do I get a Glide?" Because the Glide frame is better. It's the best frame I've found in a long time. Expander says that Vifly discharger is working, but it's bloody slow. That's funny. You typed that, and I realized the same thing. Ryzek says, where did you get that UFL to SMA adapter? I need one for my Vista. GetFPV. Ciotti, which, if you're going to order from GetFPV, go to CiottiFPV.com first. There's a GetFPV affiliate link. Click that affiliate link button, and that's all you have to do. It's going to go to some random... Mr. Syncopad says, I know Bob personally, no shop in Europe. Man, that's annoying. Yeah. it's gonna the affiliate links will my affiliate links will bring you to random products. You don't have to buy those products. Just by the fact that you click the affiliate link, it drops my code into your shopping cart, and then that whole shopping cart I will get 6% of the whole order. And you guys have been doing better and better and better at remembering that, and it's really starting to make a difference, to the point where for the first time ever, my monthly Patreon payout was not required for me to pay rent. And that's a really big deal. Thank you guys for that. Because that means for the first time I'm like ahead, and I'm not just like essentially living paycheck to paycheck. You guys did that, man. It's a big deal. NapFPV says, I have a YouTube question. If I watch your streams afterwards at 1.5 speed, why does your voice sound so horrible? No. Does it hurt your YouTube watch time? And does watch time even matter? Or are likes and comments more important? It's a really good... I should know the answer to that, Nap. But every time I start to kind of like learn about... So here's the thing, right? I worked in search engine optimization, and I learned a good amount about how Google works, how the algorithms work, how social media optimization works. And for a while, I was really obsessed with like the technical understanding and like figuring out the answer to your exact question, like which and it is admittedly it is really good to know that stuff. But after I was in that world for a while, what I actually realized is that like, and this was a little bit different because the clients had me to guide them through that, right? But what I was able to impart on the clients, and now I'm the client, right? So like, I'm trying to turn this around to myself. What I was able to impart to the clients is like, look, whatever you've had success with and whatever you're already doing, keep doing that, do that harder, and then I will give you some other stuff that you can work on. But the biggest thing that I can impart on people is like, just do stuff. Just like, and do what you're good at. Like have the faith in yourself to just keep doing this thing that you're making into a business, right? Like you chose, I remember one of my clients sold supplements, and I was like, you went down a path in your life to learn a lot about supplements, to the point where probably enough people told you that you should go into making your own business around supplements, right? That tends to be how it works with people who start their own businesses. For my wife, it was graphic design. Enough people eventually told her, you're so good at this, you don't even need to work for these other companies anymore. You're so good, you can do that for yourself. And then eventually, like if enough people tell you that, it convinces you, right? And then you go, okay, I'm going to do the really scary thing and go out on my own. And like, so that's kind of where I'm at. And so I just don't, like, whatever you guys need to do to get as much of this content, just do it. I truly don't care if you're hurting my watch hours, because the more, yeah, it's like that sort of karma approach of just like just do whatever you can, whatever works best for you, just do it. And it's like, if watching it, if you can deal with my voice at 1.5x or 2x, by all means. And then, yeah, whatever time you save, I don't know, if you really want to be a total lunatic rock star, if that saves you 10 minutes and for some reason you feel guilty about it, send CiottiFPV.com to your friend that doesn't know about me, and that'll have 10,000 times the effect as Google's dumbass algorithm. Here's the other thing. They change the goddamn algorithm constantly. So like learning all of the technical stuff to it is it's just so frustrating because it's just like, all right, I just figured it out, great, and then the next, a bunch of the updates were called Penguin back in the day to Google, and that would always be like, we as a company we would get really good at figuring out what the algorithm was going to do, and then as soon as like we got really comfortable with it, Penguin 2.1 would come out, and they would completely change the algorithm on us because the internet is new, right? The internet is pretty fresh, and like we're changing. Like the way that we search changes, the way that we watch videos on YouTube changes, the way that we title our videos on YouTube changes, the way that we make thumbnails on YouTube, right? So it's just this like constantly moving target, and my approach is to just not spend my time on that stuff and to spend my time on the content, the best possible content. It's cool of you to ask that though, Nap. That says a lot about you, that you had that thought, and that's cool, man.
Are you hungry?
I am. Are you cooking?
I am. I'll start now.
Cool. I'll wrap up. How long do you think it'll take?
15 minutes.
All right, sweet. You guys got me for 15 more minutes, then Kristen gets me. Caught up on the chat. We did mailbag. We're going to go into Premiere, and you guys are going to get a sneak peek of the short that's going to come out tomorrow. What do you think of that? So yesterday's stream wasn't great, but this stream was pretty amazing. And that's how it works, man. That is how it works. Can I please? There we go. There we go. All right, so this is the one that I just put up, right?
No hobo, nice cut. Show me your shirt.
Yeah, it is. All right, so this is the one that I'm gonna cheat a little. Nah, we'll do a fresh one. So this is actually gonna be the one that's. You guys are gonna have to wait 2 days for your secret sneak peek, because I'm gonna find another one.
Jonathan King said.
This one's about to be done here. I just have to export it. I might have already no, I didn't export it yet.
Jonathan King says.
What do we got?
New Mobula since about week 3 of International Game Awards 2 competition. Lots of batteries, but not a crazy amount. I've beaten the hell out of the quad, so maybe the motors are screwed up. We'll message you. Jonathan, do this. Take your. Well, it's a tiny whip, so you can do it with the props on. Go into beta flight, plug a battery in, go into the motors tab, and spin each motor up individually.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, you're
So the first thing I do is I'll just start watching until I get to like a question that sort of warrants a clip video, right? Because some of the questions are, how's the BattleBots build going, right? But this is a really good one. This is how to test motors to find out if you have bent motor shaft. So yeah, this is pretty dope. Usually I have to watch like 15-20 minutes of this to get to a question that sort of warrants it, but this is just dropped right on my lap.
Jonathan King said.
So let's get it going. I see some action in the chat. Give me 1 second here. This is also hopefully gonna maybe break me out of the ums a little bit more, which you wouldn't believe how difficult that is. Let's see.
Jonathan King.
There we go. So that's a good little start. And then I've got my little overlays here. Let's grab those. Copy. Come in here. Paste. Throw those up on top. And then let's just delay them a little bit and let's see how that is. I'll keep Epidemic Sound on. It's fine.
Jonathan King says
cool. Up
new
top.
Mobula since about week 3 of International Game Awards 2 competition. Lots of batteries, but not a crazy amount. I've beaten the hell out of the quad, so maybe the motors are screwed up. We'll message you. Jonathan, do this.
Cool. So now I just need to find the end of my answer.
Listen.
And we'll have a quick one.
Listening for one of the motors.
Super Deluxe in the house. Tiago Ramos with 50 reals. Thank you, for another BattleBot video. Chomper, this is Premiere. Premiere Pro.
Of the motors and the
from Adobe.
You'll know if there's something horribly wrong because they'll get hot, they'll get noisy, they'll get.
And that's what she said. And that's what she said. Fuck yeah.
Horribly wrong because they'll get hot, they'll get noisy, they'll get. That's what she said. Obese Quad says interesting.
Awesome, quick one, but that's fine. That's the whole point of these clips videos. Okay, so I want to kill the video here, but I am going to let the audio play out. Let me see if I can create a little gap.
Obese Quad says, interesting fail yesterday. Motor screws and motor 1 on my Acrobat fell out and motor 4 died. At the same time? Jesus. Yeah, motor screws falling out.
Yeah, okay, so that's an example of one that I'm not going to create a clip out of. Because I don't have like good info, you know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna say? So cool. There's the end of that. Let's grab. You guys can see my screen, right? I put the chat right on top of OBS. Let me hit the chat really quick, just because you guys are about to roll off the top of the screen. RC Addict says, thanks for those on those 4-blade props. You're certainly welcome, RC Addict. E-Doc says, not sure if you would know this, but any idea if floppy props on a 3-inch would explode less in the snow than normal 3-inch props? They would. No. So the 3-inch, first and foremost, the 3-inch floppy props from Dow, don't get them. They're not balanced. So I guess that makes this answer not really matter. But no, it doesn't. So here's when the folding props fail. The bottom piece has the holes in it. I guess I'll do this. The bottom piece of the hub has the holes in it, and then the top piece has the dildos that go down into the hole. And the failure happens when the propellers, and propellers always do this, as you create more thrust, the propellers do this, right? You've probably seen it happen before. So what eventually happens is the dildos. Now I can't make a goddamn clip out of this because I was being an 8-year-old and calling them dildos. Or maybe I do make a clip out of this. So as the propeller does this, eventually, if it does this enough, it'll pull the top piece with the I can't think of what they're actually called. The stems, maybe? Yeah, the stem. It'll pull the stem up and out, and then the propeller blade comes off the stem and explodes. So that's the failure. So in the cold, the plastic is going to be stiffer. So in the cold, it'll actually prevent that failure, I'll bet you. But it doesn't matter because you don't want to run those 3-inch folding props because they're out of balance. But if you're running the 5 and 6-inch floppy props on really powerful motors, be careful of that failure because that's the failure that can occur. But all that being said, it doesn't happen until you're making ass loads of power. And I've never seen it on the 5-inch ones. I've only ever seen them with the 6-inch ones. DronePod says 7-inch flight, low level flying over water. Oh, he posted a video on Discord. There you guys go. Check it out on Discord for some 7-inch content. There's the Tiago super chat. Thanks again, brother. Chomper says, what do you use to edit? We talked about that. Dauntless says, jeez. Oh, he says one of those days. I'm not gonna read it because I'm making somewhat of an effort to curse less, but Dauntless is having a rough FPV day. It happens. It happens. It won't be every day, though. Tomorrow will be a little bit less bad, unless it's not. But then the next day will be a little bit less bad, unless it's not. But eventually, it'll be less bad. Okay, so we got that. I got this. I'm going to copy my little outro piece here. I'm going to drop that in there. We're going to pull that over to match it up. I'm holding the command button. When you hold the command button, you can roll your mouse wheel and it'll do this. And then when you hold the option button, the mouse wheel will do this. Learn your keystrokes, kids. They are the key to being fast.
Jonathan King says
in editing software.
New Modulus synth.
So I don't even need to listen to this again. I just need to fix the end. And then I'll grab a silly thumbnail. And today's Thursday, so this will be Saturday's clips video. Oh, is there a little mouse click that I can sync that up on? Hold on. Let's see. So I'm going to scroll in a little bit. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to unlink, and that's going to allow me to pull the audio out farther. See how that works? And let's see if there's a little bit of a sync point. Oh, that's so good. And you can actually see the sync point right here. You can see where I click the mouse. And it seems to be dead on the money. Yeah, it's dead on the money. So that's cool. So that you always want to try to, one of the keys to editing is to have as much of an interaction between the audio and the video as possible. So like for example, how can I give you guys an example of this? Okay, so watch and listen to this, and then I'm gonna change it, and you'll see why there's such a difference. So you'll see what I mean. See what I mean? See how the second version is just, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing.
That's what she said.
Wait, oh no, I didn't do that right. All right, hold on. Pretend like the last 10 seconds didn't exist. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing that you're doing. But it makes a big difference. I'll get better. Don't you worry. Super Deluxe with a $19.99 super chat. Bro, thank you so much. Love me some Ciotti. New vid drops in 2.5 hours. Be there. You're going to want to see this one. Everybody go sub to Super Deluxe. He's making awesome, awesome, awesome content. Has been for a long time. I can't believe if you're not subbed, you've been missing out. Go over there right now. Also a huge supporter of the channel. Super Deluxe has been a top patron for a long time. Go check him out, man. Super cool dude. Go get it. Freelojo just came in from flying the Taycan. The more I fly, the harder I fly, the less I get to fly. Gotta get more backs. Yeah, having a lot of batteries is really important. Metal Dirtson says, Super Deluxe, I feel guilty. Same. Got the same frame from one of CiottiFPV's giveaways. Nice. Well, wait, yeah. I mean, a lot of the frames that have been given away were actually from Super Deluxe.
That's what she said. Obese Quad says...
So I'm just going to... The last thing I'm going to do here is just duck the audio down and on the tail end here as the... That's not what I wanted to do. As the audio drops down, the little end screen is going to kind of do its thing. So we're going to hold Command, and we're going to click 2 times to create 2 little, I forget what they're called, points where you can adjust the volume. And this is me setting the beginning point. I want to make sure it's at 0 dB. There's 0 dB. So now we're done.
Obese Quad says, interesting fail yesterday.
long is this? 29:25 to 35:11. Why is this so long? This is a little too long. Let's just. Oh no, you know that's right. No. The ending credit. I have this specifically at the right length for the ending credits. Okay, so this is the right length. We will do that, and now the audio is going to match the fade out of the video a little better. Ready?
Obese Quad says, interesting fail yesterday. Motor screws.
There it is. And that's how you make the outro a little bit more comfortable. Wait, no, hold on. Let's get an embarrassing thumbnail. What's the weirdest that I look in here that I can get a quick screenshot of? Come on. I can usually find a silly face quicker than this. Come on. Wait, I got the finger out. Maybe I'll do a finger point. Yes. Yes, I can feel one. I can feel one coming. This is it. I think this is it. Come on. No, that's not it.
And spin each motor up.
Ooh, that's a good one. There's a double. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's all blurry, though.
Individually.
Is that it? Is that the one? Top 3 props. Mr. Singlepad wants top 3 props. S4s are great. I prefer the GemFan 5143s. And then the T-Motor 5143Ss are also really, really good. Those are my top 3. I look kind of miserable here, though. Let me try to find a screenshot where I don't look so angry.
You're listening for one of the motors to be super angry, or maybe all of them are super angry.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the one. That's like meme bait, though. Maybe I shouldn't. Nobody's memeing me yet, though, so I'm going to do it. Screw it. I'll I can't do it. It's too much. All right, that's a little bit. It's a little bit harder to put a dick in my mouth on that one, so I'm gonna go with that one. And we go here, and we go here, and we go like that. All right, and now we got our screenshot, and I should have clips. There it is. So I'm gonna go. And I got to make sure I name this. So this is motor testing. Motor testing. Yeah. Wait, no, thumb. I got to put the word thumb in there. Cool. Motor testing, thumb. And then I just have to export it out of here and we'll be good to go. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to go enjoy some delicious dumplings. Dauntless says, CiottiFPV sees something disturbing. Top 3 props. Chomper is out of here. And good to go. Caught up on chat. Thanks for hanging, everybody. This has been your daily Patreon stream. The replay of this stream is only available over on Patreon if you would like to join Patreon so that you don't have to work so hard to try to catch these daily streams when they're live in public. You just go on over to CiottiFPV.com, click the Patreon button. For 10 cents a day, you can jump onto my Patreon, and it's going to give you access to these streams, my Discord channel, all of the technical articles that I've written on the Patreon page, and all kinds of other good stuff. Thanks to each and every one of you guys for supporting me. It means so much, and it has allowed us to create a pretty cool thing here. I'm pretty biased, but this is a pretty cool thing, man. You guys did that. We did it together. Be good. I'm out of here. Here's some flying. I should really get it queued up a little bit more. Nope, that's definitely just an instantaneous crash. So is that. So is that. Hey, that's more than a gigabyte. Maybe there's some actual flying. Hopefully this is some good flying. If not, later. And like, they do perform well. Like they're very efficient and they fly really good.